Okay, I've been a commercial fisherman since I'm 13 years old. I quit school to start fishing, but I started fishing not as a hobby. I was supporting my mom and my dad. My dad was wounded in World War II.
Like before and like what happened after Katrina, what happened after Rita, like just how it really changed.
It's undescribable. Can I tell you? You had to be there to do it. I was here for Rita. We evacuated for Katrina because I never evacuated for a storm in my life. I stood in the feet for every storm they had. But when they told me they had a Category 5 storm coming straight to the center of the Gulf of Mexico towards the feet, Gene Adams got out of here 3 days before I took off. And we lucked out. The storm passed 75 miles to the east of us. If it would have came straight the way it was going to come, we would have been like Point LaHash and other places. We got wind damage, but we didn't get water from Katrina in Lafitte. Okay. What we got was water damage from Rita, and we never had no winds at all. About 25 miles an hour, southeast wind, and it came up overnight in approximately 12 hours. The next morning, it was flooded.
Were you here for Rita?
I stood 7 days. After Rita passed, me and a couple other families in the neighborhood, I was on my boat, and they was in their house, but they had water in it, and when the water went down 6 inches the first day, and they brought their floors out. So, but my house was still flooded, so I stood on my boat for another 3 days. Then my house came out of the water, and I hosed it out, and then I started staying in the house again. But we didn't have no electricity from Katrina. We didn't have no electricity for that whole time, all the way until after Rita.
You said like your family's been here for like 5 generations.
5 generations. My great-great-grandfather, his name was Fremont. Now, how you pronounce it in English, I wouldn't know. But that's what I was told my grandfather's name was. And we called him Fremont, Adam. And he was one of the original settlers in Lafitte. And this is where he settled, right here. And for Katrina, they clocked 140 mile an hour wind on this bayou in Lafitte for Katrina. And the bayou itself went low. The wind was coming from the north, so it pushed the water out into the Gulf. And what happened was, they had a wave that came from a big lake that's up here, Lake Salazar. And it made a big surge. They had some guys staying in my house. They didn't want to leave, and they stood in my house. And one guy was staying on my boat. And he had to swim out of the window of the cabin because the boat sunk when the wave hit the side of the cabin.
The same boat that's out there now?
He came up there, he couldn't walk. He had to crawl over the levee because the wind was blowing so hard and the shells and the sticks and stuff was hitting him so hard, he couldn't walk. And this is a guy who never did leave for a hurricane either. He said he'll never stay for another. It really, all Katrina did for us, it was another storm. It blew my roof off, it sunk my boat, and I could go on with my life. Rita came 3 weeks later and took the rest of whatever I had left. In other words, I had 4 foot of water.
Where did you stay?
I was on the boat.
How long were you on there?
7 days.
What happened with the whole money thing, where they said they were going to give you a grant?
There was the federal government, and right after the storm, everybody was trying to get back into their houses and stuff. And I told my wife, I said, we cannot do what everybody else is doing because I said we got to know what we're going to do. If they're telling us we got to go up, we can't afford to go up. We can afford to, with the insurance money, we had to just fix the house. You know, we had to fix at that grade. And the federal government told us that they was supposed to give up the $150,000, and we waited almost 2 years, about a year and a half, for them to tell us final that they were gonna give us 45,000. 45,000. Then when they sent us another letter, they said that we couldn't get the 45,000, they were gonna give us 6. So we took the 6 because they said if you feel it, you still gotta take the 6. Well, we took the 6. Then they took the 6 back. We wasn't eligible for that. Now they're saying they're gonna give us 22. We still ain't got a dime. Now they say they're gonna give us 22. I'm up in the air and I have no way to get money because I'm a sick person. You know what I'm talking about? Really, I can't go and make a loan. They must tell them, how are you gonna pay your loan off? Oh, I'm sick, I've got a bad heart and I need a heart transplant. Well, how you gonna pay your house off? You can't, so you can't get a loan. You know? And really, I can't see making more bills because I can't do it. I used to work, and my wife used to work, and that's how we live a decent life. You know, send our kids to school and all. But they're just a bad situation when it comes down. When the government promises you stuff, they should follow through. Now, there's people that got money. They never use it in the right thing. And that's how the government should have said, I want to see the bill, right? Where the bill is exactly what you did. Instead of, oh, here's the money. And that's what they did. When I was at the hotel, the rumors was because New Orleans for Katrina was underwater. And the rumor was that, well, don't worry about it. FEMA's going to take care of it. Okay? For one, which was a storm 20 years ago, you keep hearing it going backwards. They said the same thing, but only Lafitte got hurt. The big cities didn't get hurt. It was just a small area of the town of Jean Lafitte where y'all staying and coming this way. We got hurt. We didn't have no help from the government. I mean, our mayor did what they can, you know, at the time, but that was 20 years ago. And I mean, that's the way you gotta watch when they tell you something like that, because you don't know if you can believe what they tell you. But I still don't. It just going on 3 years, pretty soon, huh? For the storm, and I ain't never seen a dime yet. They gave me 6 and they took that away. That if they tell you something. If they tell you, they wrote me a letter saying that they was going to give me 45,000. We sat down with the contractor and said, okay, what can we do with this? I got so much money, let's say $150,000. Now, what can we do with this 45,000? Can I raise my house? Man said, yeah. He said, if I raise it, it cost you about $35,000 to raise your house, and you can get in your house. My house will be finished. But then it never came true. I'm 45,000 away from getting in my house, and that's what y'all good people is doing. That money that they were supposed to give me, y'all helping me with. That's y'all good people. But that's my luck. My wife still don't believe this is happening. We've been praying for about a week and a half to try to help us to get into the house. We've been praying to St. Jude. I don't know if y'all believe in, I don't know the type of religion or all that. That's who we've been praying to. And y'all show up on my doorstep. It's something wonderful. Because we had no way. If we get this done, that's helping us that much closer to getting into the house. And that all got to pass forward, and that's a big lump right there. You're talking about, if I go get a contractor, and I ain't going to hold back, I'm going to tell you, it cost me $15,000 to do what y'all doing for me. That's what it cost me.